The air was thick with tension. Across the globe, millions were glued to their screens, witnessing a display of military might that seemed almost unreal. China's largest military parade in decades rolled down the streets of Beijing. Tanks gleaming under the sun, jets roaring across the sky in perfect formation, and soldiers marching with synchronized precision that could send chills down anyone's spine. Every detail was calculated, every movement executed flawlessly. It was not just a parade, it was a statement, a show of power, discipline, and ambition. Meanwhile, halfway across the world, in the bustling halls of an American rally, one man watched with a mix of disbelief and barely concealed fury. Donald Trump, the ever-dramatic former president, couldn't hide his reaction. His face twisted into a mask of incredulity, eyes narrowing as he muttered to aides, "They're showing off. This is ridiculous. Who even needs this?" He gestured wildly, pacing back and forth, unable to comprehend that another nation could project such strength so effortlessly. The crowd around him murmured, sensing the rare vulnerability in the man who was usually so confident, so brash. And then, a hush fell. All attention turned toward one man, Barack Obama. Calm, composed, and ever watchful, he stepped into the frame, as if he had been waiting for this exact moment. The nation held its breath. What would he say? How would he respond to this bold display? And more importantly, to Trump's over-the-top theatrics? Everyone knew one thing for certain. The coming words would either silence the room or ignite it. The tension was palpable, every eye locked, every heartbeat racing. In this moment, the stage was set. Power, pride, and politics intertwined in a single cinematic frame, and the world waited, breathless, for the response that could change everything. To truly understand the tension in that room, one had to look back at the history between these two political titans. Barack Obama, calm, measured, a man whose words carried weight beyond the microphones, had long been the symbol of America's dignity on the global stage. Donald Trump, brash, bold, and often unpredictable, had always relished the role of the disruptor, challenging norms, stirring controversy, and commanding attention with his larger-than-life persona. Their rivalry was not new. From heated debates during election seasons to pointed criticisms on social media, America had watched, entertained, and sometimes shocked as these two men clashed over policy, image, and influence. The nation had grown accustomed to the spectacle, but even seasoned observers sensed that something different was brewing. Trump's ego, already inflated by years of headlines and applause, now faced a challenge unlike any other. A silent, steady force in the form of Obama, poised and unshakable, ready to respond at just the right moment. Meanwhile, across the Pacific, China was making waves that could no longer be ignored. Its military parades were more than ceremonial. They were a statement of ambition, a projection of power that demanded global attention. With cutting-edge technology, precise coordination, and an unmistakable aura of strength, China's rise had become a subject of conversation in every political circle, every news broadcast, and every household. Analysts debated its implications. Politicians adjusted strategies, citizens whispered in wonder, and sometimes in fear. For the American public, this moment represented a crossroads. How would their leaders respond to a world that was rapidly shifting? Could pride and past rivalries withstand the realities of global power dynamics? And in that charged atmosphere, with Trump's fiery temperament and Obama's poised resolve, the stage was set for a confrontation that was as much about words and wit as it was about politics. As the nation held its breath, the history, the rivalry, and the global stakes converged into one defining moment. Every eye was watching, every heart racing, and the world waited to see who would emerge with the upper hand, and who would simply be remembered as part of the spectacle. The streets of Beijing stretched endlessly, lined with banners fluttering in the wind. as an ocean of people cheered in synchronized harmony. Tanks, polished to a mirror-like sheen, rumbled down the avenues in perfect formation, their metallic bodies glinting ominously under the sun. Fighter jets sliced through the sky in tight V-shaped formations, leaving trails of white smoke that painted the air in stark, majestic lines. Soldiers marched with robotic precision, boots striking the pavement in a cadence that echoed like thunder across the city. Red flags waved proudly, a vivid reminder of a nation asserting its dominance to the world. Halfway across the globe, the scene was being broadcast live to millions of Americans. And there he was, Donald J. Trump, watching from a podium at a rally filled with cheering supporters. His jaw dropped, eyes widening as the display unfolded before him. This is insane," he muttered, pacing back and forth, hands gesturing wildly. "Who needs this much everything? Tanks, jets, people? Why not just blow the roof off while they're at it?" His supporters laughed nervously, unsure whether to cheer at his theatrics or be genuinely impressed. Trump tried to mask a flicker of jealousy with mockery, attempting to belittle the parade in his characteristic style. "Looks like they're compensating for something, folks. I mean, come on, it's just a bunch of trucks and planes," he bellowed, voice echoing across the rally hall. Yet even in his bravado, there was a crack in his armor. Deep down, he knew this was more than just a show. It was a statement, a challenge, that he could not easily dismiss. Inside American living rooms, fictional media coverage amplified the drama. Breaking: China's show of military strength shocks the world, ran a CNN-style ticker. Fox News panels debated animatedly, one analyst defending Trump's skepticism, while another warned about the implications of global power shifts. Twitter exploded with hashtags like #China Parade, Bob Trump React, and Obama Waiting, as memes and GIFs flooded the feeds, capturing every moment of incredulity, mockery, and awe. The suspense built steadily. Every camera cut to Trump's face, capturing the raw tension. Could he handle the psychological blow of China's show of might? Could he respond with the charisma and wit he had once wielded so effortlessly? Or would this be the moment the world remembered? The moment when a brash, overconfident leader met a display far beyond his expectations. And in the background, a quiet presence remained: Barack Obama. Calm, composed, and observant, he watched as the spectacle unfolded, knowing that his time to speak was coming. The nation held its breath. The question on everyone's mind: would Trump survive the parade's psychological impact, or would Obama turn the moment into a masterclass of silent power? As the final jets disappeared into the horizon, leaving trails of smoke that slowly faded, the American crowd remained unusually silent. The roar of disbelief and murmurs of curiosity blended into a tense hush. All eyes had shifted, almost instinctively, toward the grand stage where the press conference was set to begin. And then, he appeared. Barack Obama stepped forward with his signature calm demeanor, every movement deliberate, every gesture measured. His dark suit contrasted sharply against the bright lights of the stage, his tie perfectly knotted and his gaze steady, exuding a confidence that had been honed over years of public scrutiny. Reporters, both seasoned and rookie, paused mid-sentence, cameras clicking furiously to capture this moment. "All eye on one journalist whispered into a microphone, as if voicing the collective awe in the room. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation. You could feel it, the tension between past and present, between power and perception, simmering like a pot about to boil over. Trump, sitting at a separate podium nearby, fidgeted visibly, trying to maintain composure but failing against the weight of Obama's calm authority. His eyes darted, attempting to gauge any misstep, any hesitation. There was none. Every inch of Obama's posture screamed control, patience, and quiet intelligence. As he approached the podium, the silence was almost deafening. Journalists leaned in, breath held, fingers poised over record buttons. The crowd, both in the hall and across living rooms nationwide, held its collective breath. The air seemed electric, crackling with unspoken questions. What would he say? How would he address Trump? And more importantly, how would he respond to the monumental display of China's military power that had everyone talking? Obama paused briefly, scanning the room with a subtle, knowing smile. He did not rush, he did not flinch, and he did not panic. Every eye remained locked on him, every mind awaiting the wisdom or wit that was about to follow. In that suspended moment, it was clear. This was more than a press conference. It was a stage for a masterful display of intellect, poise, and subtle dominance. A moment designed to leave Trump scrambling to keep up. And then, with the weight of the world watching, Obama opened his mouth to speak. A hush deeper than before descended upon the room, the kind of silence that signals a statement about to make history. The room was electric. Every camera, every smartphone, every eye was fixed on Barack Obama. The tension was palpable, like the calm before a storm. Trump shifted uncomfortably at his podium, fingers drumming, eyes darting. He had tried to appear unbothered, yet the earlier spectacle of China's parade lingered in his mind, a show of power he could neither deny nor diminish. Obama paused, letting the silence stretch just enough to make hearts pound faster. He allowed the audience to feel the weight of what was about to come. "Some people measure greatness by noise," he said slowly, his voice deliberate, each word perfectly enunciated. "But others measure it by substance, by influence, by power that doesn't need to shout to be recognized." A soft murmur rippled through the crowd. Cameras zoomed in, social media feeds lit up, hashtags forming in real time. #Obama Truth Bomb, Power Not Noise, #Trump Speechless. Reporters scribbled furiously, sensing a historic moment. Even in the silence, Obama's words resonated, echoing in the minds of viewers across the nation. Trump's jaw tightened. He opened his mouth perhaps to retort, but found the words failing him. His usual bravado, the deflection tactics, the bluster, they all seemed small and hollow against the quiet, commanding weight of Obama's presence. The room held its collective breath, watching a former president subtly yet unmistakably assert moral and intellectual dominance. Then, Obama's voice dropped just a little, like a gentle hammer striking a bell. While some count noise, others count power. Boom! The crowd erupted. Applause, cheers, gasps, all mingled into a roar that seemed to shake the very walls. Smartphones waved in the air, capturing the instant for history. Comments exploded online. "Obama just ended Trump in one line. This is why he's a legend. Trump couldn't even blink." Inside the hall, the mood was electric. Supporters of Obama high-fived strangers. Reporters whispered excitedly to their colleagues, and even a few skeptics had to nod in reluctant agreement. The sheer simplicity and truth of the statement cut through layers of pretense, leaving Trump floundering without a foothold. Trump attempted a half-smile, half-laugh, a weak attempt at reclaiming dignity. But the damage was done. The room's energy, the social media storm, and the echo of Obama's words left no space for rebuttal. He shifted again, glanced at his notes, muttered something under his breath, but no one could hear over the tidal wave of audience response. Across the country, millions tuned in. News tickers flashed the line repeatedly. Commentators debated its significance. Late-night hosts had already crafted segments around it. Memes began to surface. Obama standing calm, Trump looking bewildered. The words, "While some count noise, others count power," emblazoned across screens in bold letters. In that single sentence, Obama had achieved the impossible. He had acknowledged China's rising might, addressed Trump's insecurity, and reinforced his own legacy, all in a calm, measured tone. A masterclass in timing, rhetoric, and presence, leaving the former president not just heard but felt in the hearts and minds of millions. Trump, for the first time in public, seemed smaller, not in stature, but in gravitas. And Obama, with a slight smile and a measured nod, stepped back, letting the weight of his words sink in, leaving a stunned nation and a speechless rival in his wake. The room still buzzed with excitement, but in the corner, Trump fidgeted. His usual confidence had given way to a rare awkwardness. He cleared his throat, attempting to craft a response, yet every word sounded forced, hollow, and strangely defensive. Well, what I meant is, everyone knows America is strong, stronger than anyone, he stammered, gesturing vaguely as if movement alone could salvage his pride. But the crowd's attention had already shifted. Obama's calm authority had taken center stage, leaving Trump struggling in the shadows of his own theatrics. Outside the hall, reactions were lightning fast. Supporters of Trump tried to defend him, some claiming the parade itself was overblown, others insisting that America's power could not be questioned. Yet even within these defenses, uncertainty crept in. The mockery of Obama's single sentence echoed like a mantra on social media, and many Trump loyalists hesitated to challenge the narrative, unsure if doing so would make them look foolish. Opponents of Trump, on the other hand, reveled in the moment. Clips of his awkward responses went viral within minutes, memes flooding feeds across platforms. One popular GIF showed Trump scratching his head with the caption, "When Obama counts power and you only count noise." Another displayed Obama calmly stepping back from the podium, overlaid with hashtag Obama owns Trump. Hashtags trended globally. #ChinaFlex, #Obama Truth Bomb, #Trump Speechless. Every scroll brought a new piece of the story, each tweet, meme, and post amplifying the narrative. Fictional news outlets jumped on the frenzy. Obama silences Trump in one sentence. Global reactions pour in, read a CNN-style headline. Fox-style commentary tried to defend Trump's reaction, but struggled to match the weight of public perception. Late-night hosts and pundits dissected the moment endlessly, replaying clips, analyzing gestes, tours, and debating who truly held the moral and intellectual high ground. Even in casual conversation, people could not escape the spectacle. Coffee shops, office break rooms, and living rooms buzzed with the same question. Who has real influence now? Who really leads the conversation in a world watching China's rise? Discussions extended beyond politics, into leadership, strategy, and perception. Obama's composed response had shifted the narrative, framing the story not just around China's power, but around how a true leader reacts to it. Trump tried to reclaim some dignity with a follow-up statement, but it barely registered. The world had witnessed a moment where composure outweighed bluster, where subtlety triumphed over theatrics, and where one well-chosen sentence reshaped public perception overnight. And while Trump would remain a figure of controversy, for now, the spotlight had shifted irrevocably. On to Obama, his measured words, and the undeniable lesson that sometimes silence and precision speak louder than any roar. The morning after the event, newsrooms across the world exploded with coverage. CNN's ticker ran, "Obama outshines Trump amid China's military spectacle. Global leaders react." Clips of Obama's composed remarks and Trump's awkward gestures were replayed endlessly. Analysts debated whether this marked a turning point in U.S.-China perception. Fox News, trying to balance their coverage, ran, "Trump faces unexpected challenge as Obama takes spotlight. Is America losing its edge?" On their panel, one commentator defended Trump passionately. "Look, America's strength isn't measured by one comment. Our military, our economy, still unmatched. Trump was just caught off guard by a global spectacle." Another panelist countered, praising Obama. "What people remember isn't the parade, it's how a leader responds." Obama showed composure, intelligence, and sense. Wit that resonates more than noise ever could. BBC coverage added an international lens. U.S. political drama unfolds as China shows military might. Obama versus Trump. Debate sparks global conversation. Their anchors highlighted public reactions in both countries, noting how social media amplified Obama's single sentence into a viral phenomenon. Expert commentary suggested that the moment reshaped public perception not only of domestic politics but also of U.S. credibility abroad. Meanwhile, fictional think tanks released analyses. While some focus on bluster, others measure influence, a report read. Leadership in an era of rising global powers demands strategic communication, not just bravado. Obama demonstrated this principle effectively. Panel discussions online mirrored this divide. YouTube commentators split into factions. Team Obama flooded comment sections with praise, dissecting his phrasing and tone. Team Trump supporters attempted to defend him, claiming media bias and exaggeration. The clash fueled trending hashtags, making the story impossible to ignore. Even economists and geopolitical experts weighed in. China's parade showcases its military modernization, one expert noted. But the U.S.'s global perception depends on leadership credibility. A well-timed, composed response can reinforce soft power more than military might. Another analyst added, Obama reminded the world that true strength is both visible and intangible, calm, calculated, and resonant. By evening, the media frenzy showed no signs of slowing. Every channel, every blog, and every social platform dissected the scene. Trump's credibility was questioned, Obama's legacy celebrated, and the global audience watched intently, learning a lesson. In the theater of world politics, perception often outweighs spectacle. As the dust settled on one of the most dramatic political moments of the year, one truth became clear. In the world of global politics, words wield power beyond spectacle. China's massive military parade had captured imaginations, and Trump's reaction had provided its own brand of drama. But it was Obama's composed response that lingered in minds long after the cameras were turned off. In that single moment, Obama reminded the public that leadership is not about noise, bluster, or reacting impulsively. It is about understanding the situation, measuring the impact of every word, and projecting calm authority even in the face of potential embarrassment. His one sentence, witty yet profoundly pointed, while some count noise, others count power, had rippled across the nation and the globe, leaving a lesson for anyone watching. True influence comes from wisdom, strategy, and restraint, not mere theatrics. Commentators and social media users alike dissected his phrasing. People quoted it, shared it, and debated its meaning, turning a simple sentence into a viral emblem of thoughtful leadership. Even those who disagreed politically could not deny the impact of measured communication. The moment became a case study in how leaders can command respect and shift narratives without raising their voice or resorting to anger. Beyond the immediate political theater, the public learned an essential life lesson. Words and composure are tools of power. Ego-driven reactions might dominate headlines for a day, but calm, calculated responses resonate for years. Strategic thinking, patience, and eloquence can turn potential embarrassment into opportunity, criticism into credibility, and moments of tension into platforms for influence. As viewers, there is a takeaway far bigger than politics. Whether in professional life, personal challenges, or public debates, the principle remains: react with wisdom, not impulse. Speak with clarity, not noise. Lead with calm confidence, not unchecked emotion. These qualities are what define real strength, and they are what allow a single sentence to eclipse a spectacle of thousands. So, as you reflect on this fictional political drama, remember to pause before reacting, weigh your words carefully, and project confidence even when the stakes are high. Let Obama's composure be an inspiration for your own decisions, conversations, and leadership. If this story gave you insight, inspiration, or even just a moment of awe, take action. Like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more dramatic, thought-provoking stories from the world of fictional politics. Leadership is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, clever, and unforgettable. Let this moment remind us all of the enduring power of calm, wisdom, and the right words spoken at the right time.